Greetings, everybody. I am the Starving Martian, and this is Collecting the Collective, where we take a look at all things Borg and determine if they should be assimilated into your collection or resisted, although we all know how futile that can be. Up until now, my Borg reviews have been largely positive. Well, that all changes today. This here is the Star Trek Next Generation Interstellar Action Series, Interstellar Action Borg. And is it just me, or do the words Star Trek and Interstellar Action just kind of redundant? But in either case, this guy here is more or less just a straight up repaint of the original Borg figure. In fact, they got a lot of mileage out of that Borg figure. He was just repainted like 3 or 4 times during the course of that original Playmates action figure series. And the only difference is that this one has a different gun hand, which we'll be getting to in just a moment. It's not a bad figure, alright? I'll give it that. Because it comes from a good mold. The problem is it's probably the worst of this mold. The original figure is a better figure. The second figure to come out, which I haven't shown you guys yet because I don't have it in my collection, but if I ever do, you'll see, better figure. The exclusive one that came with a Locutus 2-pack, better figure. So this guy's really bottom of the barrel Borg. Again, he's not bad, but there's a couple things that just hold him down. One of them being his color scheme. He is, for my money at least, far too bright and shiny for a Borg. You can see they've decked him out in these silvers, these blues. He's got a blue knee pad, blue foot. He's got a blue crotch pad there for some reason. And I still have a horribly inappropriate joke for that. I'm going to keep it to myself. Again, he's got this bright orange on his gun hand. Around back, just more blues and silvers. You know, Borg tend to be blacks, grays, shades therein. I do like the red bit on his eyepiece. That stands out nicely. But apart from that, I think he's a downgrade in almost every way from the original. One thing that this guy does have that recommends him is these tubes on his back. They come packaged alongside of him. You have to insert them, and they're a pain to get into place. But I swear these ones are slightly longer than the one that came with the original Borg, so they were actually a little bit easier to plug in. Alright, so as I said, this guy is an Interstellar Action Starfleet character, or Star Trek character, and his interstellar action involves this cannon arm here. He comes with this phaser blast, which you're supposed to just plug into here. And now he looks like he's blasting away. Pew, pew, pew. And then you push this and watch it fire. Ready? Watch it fire. 3, 2, 1. Did you see it? No, me either. That's because, like so many toys from over 20 years ago, and I guess you can't fault them too much for this, the spring mechanism inside no longer works. I got this guy straight out of package, and it just doesn't work at all. But you can't have him there with the laser pointing out of your hand if you want, and if I had a 3D camera, this would look kind of cool. But, and of course he also comes with the laser scanner, as the package refers to it. Exact same thing that's called a Borg communicator on most of the other Borg packages. Still don't know why the Borg would need this. Never use it on screen, but there you have it. The problem I have with the gun hand is threefold. 1, it don't work. 2, even if you take that bit out and say just it's the regular Borg arm attachment, it still has it. Knocking this guy over. It still has this bright orangey bit here that just clashes with the general Borg aesthetic. And 3, Borg don't use phaser weapons. So the entire concept of this figure is flawed from the word go. For those nitpickers out there who want to say that Borg used hand phasers in the episode Descent, those were not standard Borg. They had been freed from the collective and were under Lore's control. So aside from those Borg who aren't really Borg at all, Borg do not use phaser weapons. They do not need phaser weapons. They just pick you up and toss you, or stick their little assimilaty tubes into your neck. So yeah, so this concept doesn't fit the character. Another Interstellar action figure was Geordi LaForge, who comes with a phaser gun that can shoot the same sort of phaser, and that would make more sense, although I suspect his spring's probably damaged too by now. So here's a side-by-side comparison, just so you can see how he stacks up with the original Borg. And again, I much prefer the paint scheme on this guy. Now, if you want to build a Borg army and you want some different Borg in the background, then this guy's fine to put with him. But this guy's actually a buck or two cheaper. All right, I picked both these up for like $5, $6, maybe including shipping. This guy's a little bit cheaper, and he has interchangeable hands. So you could actually give him like 1 of 3 different hands. Look on his review to see those. And you can build a whole army just off of this guy. So there really is no need for this. But again, if you're a completionist or for whatever reason you like the shiny look on the Borg, go right ahead. One more comparison. Here he is with Borg Queen, who doesn't feel like standing today. That's fine. Maybe she could use the Borg base, because he also comes with a Borg base, as all Borg do, with their bear claw insignia. And now I want pastries. Alright, so that's all I really have to say for this guy. Like I said, he's not expensive at all. If you want to pick him up, you're not going to be blowing much money. But again, I would suggest going for some of the other Borg before this. Make this guy the last one you pick up, because if you miss out on him, you're not missing out on too much. Now, before we go, I have a bonus Borg to show off. Just a little guy who doesn't do anything, so I wasn't going to give him his own segment. But he is pretty cool, and I thought I'd show him off. This is a 1992 PVC, I guess. Forgot which one. Here we go. Just a little Borg figurine, statuette kind of guy. It's kind of neat, but again, he doesn't move, he doesn't flex. You can't bend his arms, can't move his head, his waist, or anything. That's one thing I didn't show off on this guy, is his articulation, but just like the other Borg, his head rotates. His arms come up and down, they swivel above the shoulder. His legs come in and out. He has knee joints. So, pretty posable. This guy here, not so much. This guy's a tiny brick. But he's a cool looking tiny brick, and he very much resembles a type of Borg you will only see on the first couple episodes that the Borg appear in. This kind of gets phased out. But he has this like metal clamp over his mouth, which I always found those Borg kind of scary. Not the Borg themselves, but the concept that, you know, that might be me if I was abducted by the Borg. You know? Nobody wants their mouth just permanently plugged. It's walking around going, so, so he's done up mostly in black with little silver highlights. He's got this odd, like, brownish kind of color going on. But that would be the bodysuit. Original G1 Borg had this bodysuit, which all this metal, this stuff was just kind of stitched to. And he's got kind of his egg beater hand. Yeah, okay, whatever. And he's permanently in this quick pull my finger kind of position. Shake hands with danger. This guy here, again, I picked up for like $5. I think that was including shipping. And if you can get him on the cheap, he is somewhat recommended. He's a bit on the short side, so he doesn't really blend in with the rest of your Borg. But if you're looking just for something a little different, Here he is with Mr. Standard Borg, just so you can see the difference there. So if you're looking for something different, or if you want to assume that the Borg assimilated a kid, which they do from time to time, I don't know. Or maybe just a shorter species, I don't know. He's worth picking up. So these are our 2 Borg for today. Neither one is a hard must-buy. Neither one is a assimilate into your collection. Personally, I prefer this guy out of the 2 only because of his uniqueness, but that's going to be up to personal taste. So yeah, guys, I think you can actually resist this one. But again, if you don't, you're only out like $6. So this has been the Starving Martian, and we will catch up with you next time with another review of something else pulled out of my various collections. Until then, have a good one, but remember, as always, to keep watching the skies.